was holiday time on the island of Sodor. All the engines were working hard and happily. Except for James. Why should a splendid engine like me take messy coal trucks instead of coaches? Percy or Oliver should do it, they're not as important as I am. Thomas was cross. James, why don't you think about something or someone else for a change? You'll be surprised at much how you feel if you do. Whew, snorted James, being important is the only thing for me to think about. And he puffed away in a cloud of steam. That plane's making a great deal of noise about something, said Percy to Oliver. His name's Tiger Moth, replied Oliver, and is flying around telling everyone about the fair that's arriving today.
What are you two doing here?
The Fat Controller wants us to pick up a very special load from the harbour. And I think it's got something to do with the fair, added Percy, and they puffed away. Meanwhile, James was collecting quarrying trucks from the yards. Dustier, dustier, he grumbled. Then he saw his friend Mrs. Kindly. She looks miserable. What's the matter? Asked James's driver. My sister's run to tell me she can't come to stay with me. I'm so looking forward to her visit. The Fat Controller soon heard the sad news. We must cheer her up. Send Harold the helicopter to pick her up immediately. A few days later, there was a surprise for Mrs. Kindly. All present and correct, called Harold. I'm on the flying visit. Hurry aboard, Mrs. Kindly, and fly to Sky with me. Compliments of the Fat Controller. Ooh, how lovely. Harold made my red paint dustier than ever, mumbled James, but he was happy for Mrs. Kindly. Soon she was flying high with Harold. I'd never seen the island like this before. It's wonderful, he said. Meanwhile, Percy and Oliver had arrived at the docks. Cranky the Crane was unloading an old tramp steamer. Hey, down there, you two. I'm playing Lucky Dip in the Trapper's Hold and Old Easer for you. Wooden horses, Percy explained, for the carousel ride. It's going to be an exciting fair. It is indeed, whistled James. The Fat Controller's ordered me to stop pulling coal trucks and go to the station instead. Something to do with Mrs. Kindly. Goodbye. Well, what do you think of that? Gasped Percy. Mrs. Kindly was waiting for James with the Fat Controller. Now this is your very special treat. James shall take you on a mystery ride and I shall meet you at your destination. James took Mrs. Kindly along to her favourite route to Fisher's Bay. When he arrived there, it was dark. A big surprise awaited Mrs. Kindly. Oh, she cried, you brought me to the fairground. How lovely. Best of all, the Fat Controller invited her to make the announcement. I declare this fairground open. The side stalls lit up and Mrs. Kindly had the first ride on the carousel. You will cry, my Thomas, whispered James, making someone happy to cheer you up. Then together they watched the fun of the fair.